In a quiet American town lived a family that looked ordinary from the outside, but carried silent struggles within. David Miller was a hardworking father, leaving for the factory before sunrise and returning late, tired and quiet. He held one belief: above all else, life is hard and it never changes. This thought was a locked door in his mind. His wife, Susan, tried to keep their home warm and hopeful, but she too was slowly starting to accept David's constant negativity. Their teenage son, Ethan, a smart and curious boy, watched it all unfold. Lately, his eyes had lost their spark. Every night at dinner, the same conversation played out. "Dreams don't pay bills," David would say. "Don't expect too much from life," he'd warn Ethan. "People like us don't get lucky." Slowly, these words began to settle in Ethan's heart, weighing him down. Then came a turning point. One afternoon, Ethan's school announced a family workshop called New Thoughts, New Lives. Students were encouraged to bring a parent. Ethan was hesitant, but Susan gently convinced David to go. "Let's just listen," she said. "One evening won't hurt." Reluctantly, David agreed. The speaker that night was an older man named Mr. Harris. He didn't shout or preach. He simply told stories. He spoke about how every major change in a person's life begins with a single new thought. You cannot build a new life with old beliefs, he explained. Then he asked a simple question that hung in the air. What sentence do you repeat most often in your mind? David felt a knot in his stomach. He knew his answer all too well. The drive home was unusually quiet. Finally, Ethan spoke, his voice soft. "Dad, do you really believe people like us can never change?" The question hit David harder than he expected. That night, sleep wouldn't come. Mr. Harris's words echoed in his mind. For the very first time, David wondered if his thoughts weren't protecting his family, but trapping them. The next morning, something small but powerful happened. Instead of his usual, "another terrible day," David paused and said, "Maybe today can be different." It felt strange, uncomfortable, but also lighter. Over the next few weeks, David started making small changes. He began to listen instead of shutting down conversations. He started reading during his breaks instead of just complaining. When Ethan talked about his dream of becoming an engineer, David didn't say, "That's impossible." Instead, he said, "If you work for it, let's see how far you can go." Susan noticed the change first. The house felt warmer. Dinners became hopeful. Ethan started smiling again, his old spark returning. The transformation was underway. Months passed. David, feeling a new sense of possibility, applied for a training program he would have dismissed before. Ethan joined the science club, his confidence growing with every project. And Susan, feeling inspired, return to a hobby she had abandoned years ago. Nothing magical happened overnight, but slowly, everything was changing. One evening, as David looked around the dinner table, he realized something profound. Their lives hadn't changed because of money or luck. They changed because new thoughts were finally allowed in. Old beliefs had kept him safe, but stuck. New thoughts were opening doors he never knew existed. He smiled at Ethan and said, "I used to think life couldn't change. I was wrong. I changed my thoughts first, and life followed." The moral of this story is simple yet powerful. An inflow of new thoughts can completely remake you. When you change the way you think, you change the way you live. Old beliefs keep you exactly where you are, but new thoughts show you everywhere you can go. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe for more content that inspires change.